Right, welcome. Welcome to the rebirth moment. So, if you weren't born this morning, you have another chance to be born again. This is really wonderful. And so these are healing sessions that we're actually in, and it begins right here. It begins with you. There's nothing outside of you. So here we are, coming in touch with ourselves. That's great. That's great. So coming in touch with ourselves on a wherever you can step into that. So if that is in your physical appearance, if that is you sitting in your chair, that's where we start. If that is you looking for something that is outside of you that's going to give you something, that's where we start. If that's you being literally turned inward, discovering a circle of brightness within you, that's where we begin. So this is depending on how you are experiencing this moment and how you look at yourself in this moment, what you think you are, because that's determining what you are experiencing. Today I use chapter 18, in fact, to make this clear. Basically, you have a recognition with what I will be talking about. And this was given to me this morning to take a look at. And it's like, what was that again? There was such part in the course where it's a button falling down or something that's... And we come to that. Indeed, there's a button falling down. Like, it doesn't even have the power for a button to fall down or a feather to behold. And that we're talking about fear and guilt, the circle of fear that's below perception, below the way that you see yourself, but you gotta get it right. So that's why we use the text of A Course in Miracles, because these expressions that Jesus is bringing to us are so very specific, and that you need to pay attention in order to hear it. That's one thing, but also it is exactly about how it is shared. That's why we have this book. Like, I cannot make it up. There are double negatives in sentences that I cannot make up. So it's like you have to know exactly the point, what we're talking about, in order to hear it, in order to direct your mind in how to receive this. So that's very important, and also that's why we have the book, and you have to read it again. So this chapter 18, the last paragraph in the Bluebook of chapter 18, or 18J in the Urtext, is something that you really have to dive into. And that's exactly why we're going to make a start with today, because you might not even recognize that you ever have read it, and that can very well be. But it's literally, you can call it the geometry of rebirth. It's from one circle, the circle of fear, to the circle of brightness, and recognizing how this geometry literally transforms in how you perceive yourself and how you are experiencing yourself. Now, that might not sound too attractive right away, but if you get into it, it becomes obvious what it is that we're dealing with. So there's such beautiful opportunity to basically let go of what isn't. Like, let go of what you thought happened, what happened yesterday or the day before, or how you've seen yourself yesterday or the day before. Like here, now there's an invitation to let this moment be all new and to enter into it in a whole different way. And that's exactly the reason why we are together, that we meet, so to speak, because like in this instant, there's an opportunity to hear something that is actually assisting you to be yeah, you can say like teleported into the real world. And this is literally true. So it's like you perceive yourself in a certain setup. You have your memories, you have your associations, you have your relationships, so to speak. You have all of this. But suddenly you're taken out of that. Not that you lose it, but you're taken out of it. Within the awareness of yourself, into a different place. And this different place is where you recognize yourself to be truly who you are. So that's why I use the word teleportation, because it's literally you being teleported out of a place. You find yourself suddenly in a new place. And a new place where you recognize yourself in a broader perspective than before. Which is really like a description of rebirth, is what I'm giving you. So this is really wonderful to start with. So you see, I'm slowing down now. Because this is, in order to come to a deep receptivity, it is necessary to slow down and to recognize that we're not trying to get anywhere. We're not trying to do anything. We're not, in that sense, we have no intention. We have no goal to achieve. So it is really an undoing that is taking place. That means this is about the release of things that you thought, things that you hold on to, things that you associate with yourself. So letting that go for a moment, just to calm it down, to come to a different experience, not with the purpose of getting into that different experience. No, in fact, it is just a letting go. What is already yours is already there. You will never be able to lose it. It is always there. So this is the loveliness of this, like recognizing what is already there. Circle of brightness. What a lovely idea. Circle of brightness. But first we go to the circle of fear. So this is what remains, you could say. Help me to perform whatever miracles you want of me today. This is our prayer. Help me to perform whatever miracles you want of me today. So here's the circle of fears in chapter 18, section J, fifth paragraph. The circle of fear lies just below the level the body sees. The circle of fear lies just below the level the body sees. Yeah, you hear this well. The circle of fear lies just below the level the body sees, and seems to be the whole foundation on which the world is based. The circle of fear lies just below the level the body sees, and seems to be the whole foundation on which the world is based. It's like it is literally glued together by fear. And watch out not doing that. Oh, don't expose yourself to that. Don't do this, don't do that. It's like that is not. It is below what the body's eyes see. It's like almost like a warning. It is like the basis of all illusions. You got to protect yourself to that what is not seen, but it's right there. Something like this. It's like it is below what the body's eyes see, and seems to be the whole foundation on which the world is based. Here are all the illusions, all the twisted thoughts, all the insane attacks, the fury, vengeance and betrayal that were made to keep guilt in place, so that the world could rise from it and keep it hidden. Now this is a nice start to get it all in one picture, so to speak. Like, look at this. The circle of fear lies just below the level of the body's eyes see, and seems to be the whole foundation on which the world is based. Here are all illusions, all twisted thoughts, all insane attacks, the fury, vengeance, and betrayal that were made to keep the guilt in place, so that the world could rise from it and keep it hidden. Its shadows rises to the surface, enough to hold its most external manifestations in darkness, and to bring despair and loneliness to it, and keep it joyless. But its intensity is veiled by its heavy coverings, and kept apart from what was made to keep it hidden. Its shadow rises to the surface of the world that you perceive, enough to hold its most external manifestations in darkness, and to bring despair and loneliness to it, and keep it joyless. But its intensity is veiled by its heavy coverings, and kept apart from what was made to keep it hidden. The body cannot see this, for the body arose from this for its protection, which must always depend on keeping it not seen. The body's eyes will never look on it, yet they will see what it dictates. The body will remain guilt's messenger and will act as it directs, as long as you believe that guilt is real. So you could say, like, this is the complete delusion of the world that you perceive. The complete delusion. It's not just the world that you see, but it's also all the constructs and all the guilt and fear that is like right underneath the surface of it, and keeps it as glued together. For the reality of guilt is the illusion which seems to make it heavy and opaque, impenetrable, and a real foundation for the ego's thought system. Its thinness and transparency are not apparent until you see the light behind it, and then you see it as a fragile veil before the light. This heavy-seeming barrier, this artificial floor that looks like a rock, is like a bank of low, dark clouds that seem to be a solid wall before the sun. Its impenetrable appearance is wholly an illusion. It gives way softly to the mountain tops that rise above it, and has no power at all to hold back anyone willing to climb above it to see the sun. So we're getting to the point of relief, you could say now. It's like, oh, it looked very heavy, this heavy seeming barrier, this artificial floor that looks like rock. It's like a bank of low dark clouds. They don't really have any consistency at all, that seem to be a solid wall before the sun. Its impenetrable appearance is wholly an illusion. It gives way softly to the mountain tops that rise above it, and has no power at all to hold back anyone willing to climb above it to see the sun. It is not strong enough, and here's the button, it's not strong enough to stop a button's fall, nor hold a feather. Nothing can rest upon it, for it is but an illusion of a foundation. Try but to touch it, and it disappears. Attempt to grasp it, and your hands hold nothing. So this is the whole picture, right, of the world, of the darkness, of the guilt, of the fear, it's like it's a construct. And it looks so intensely organized and so intensely present. And when you live in it, so to speak, when you live in it, it becomes so real to you. And it really seems like a prison. It really seems like something that can hold you back, and that deprives you of your release, of your freedom. Like, totally, it seems that way. And if you're willing to go to it, to deeper go to it, to really take a really good look at it, and actually see it for what it is nothing more than like seeming clouds, like heavy clouds that protect you from the sun. So in other words, you can go through it and experience the light that is beyond it. Now it is like whatever you make of these clouds, it can look like an incredible wall that's impenetrable. And when you see yourself outside of it, it seems impossible to get to the other side. Now this is exactly why this is A Course in Miracles. It's like you cannot do that. You can reach out your hand through the clouds, is what it says in the 60s lessons. Like you reach out through the clouds, and you can be sure that you are being pulled through them to the other side, to literally come to the light. Now this is the experience that's being offered here, because otherwise it's like you and the clouds are in the same space, you could say. You experience yourself in this prison. So you're part of this prison. Like the whole construct of you is the prison. You're literally, I just read it this morning too, it's like you're literally what the denial is. That's why you need a hand. That's why you need a miracle to get out of it. Because you have so much identified with what you are not, that you really believe you are that. So now here, that's the circle of fear. Like it is that. You're a total part of that in your ideas about yourself. Now the release can take place, because it is not what it appears to be. It doesn't have any power to hold you back. Basically, that's what this comes down to. It has no power to hold you back. And when you discover you can go beyond this, when there's an option in your mind that you can go beyond it, that this is not the end of the story, in other words, then suddenly something else becomes possible. And you recognize that there is a hand pulling you into the light, you could say, or helping you to come into it, to come into a brightness that has nothing to do with this world as you have imprisoned yourself into. So that's a beautiful description of rebirth, you could say. That it is. It doesn't stop here, of course. So I'm really encouraging you to pick it up and read through it, because now we're actually at the point where the sun can break through these dark clouds, where the light can come into your direct experience of yourself, where you recognize I'm not bound by the laws that seems to be at work, but actually I don't even see them. I literally make them up, but they seem to be holding me back. Now something else can occur. I'm actually waking up from this imprisoning dream, this nightmare of darkness. I'm waking up out of that in order to come to a different experience of myself. So that is what we're talking about. Like then suddenly you find yourself in this circle of brightness, and it was no effort on your part at all to get there. It is just the reality of you, by releasing the rest, by holding the hand that pulls you out of it, by asking for the miracle, by asking for help. And like suddenly you find yourself in this other place, where you don't have to defend, where you don't have to be afraid that something is going to happen to you, but you feel completely surrounded and you feel completely supported, and you know that this is your place, so to speak. But from them to the light, the shadows cannot fall. This world of light, this circle of brightness, is the real world, where guilt meets with forgiveness, Here the world outside is seen anew, without the shadow of guilt upon it. So this is a typical part that I didn't introduce yet. So it's like you find yourself in this transition where suddenly you start to forgive. And forgiving then is really letting go of your ideas about it. Like I'm pulling this. Like forgiveness is the place where you release your ideas. It says in the course too, in this chapter, is like it is not creative as is light creative. Forgiveness is like an act that you do to leave behind the ties that were binding you just a moment before. In fact, you release yourself from past associations, from past ideas, in order to be completely present here now. And only for that reason. It's like it's not an incredible heroic act to forgive. No, it is just giving yourself the opportunity to enter into this moment, because this is the only time there really is. So in other words, all the rest was illusionary. It wasn't true. Now here we come. If you want to enter into this moment, you have to leave that behind, just because it has no reality. If you give it any reality, then you have replaced this moment with reality. And you see that as real. And you cannot experience the circle of brightness, you could say. You still believe that there are clouds shrouding your sight, literally that hang as a veil over your vision. You really cannot see it. So that's the forgiveness part. This world of light, this circle of brightness is the real world, where guilt meets with forgiveness. Here the world outside is seen anew, without the shadow of guilt upon it. Yeah. Here the world outside is seen anew, without the shadow of guilt upon it. See, it's incredibly interesting what is being shared here. It's like forgiveness takes away the cover, or that what lies beneath what you see. It's like you see the figures, you could say, like you see the figures and you have made a story about it, a story of guilt and fear and defensiveness and all this. You have made that up in order to identify yourself as, here I am, I'm in this world, I'm literally trying to avoid being contaminated with this guilt, or being completely obliterated by the fear. Like you protect yourself, you keep it a distance, like you separate yourself off continuously in order for your safety, up to the moment that you don't do that anymore. When you forgive what you see, then suddenly everything is still there, but it doesn't have the invisible illusion, really, like the invisibleness of the guilt and the fear that was literally dictating to you how to behave. Like the spell is broken, you could say. The spell is broken. Suddenly everything is still there, but it doesn't have that any longer. So you can be at peace within this world too. And that doesn't matter, because in fact you're not preoccupied with it anymore. You're no longer blinded by the illusory aspects of it. So this brings us back right here too. It's like here we come together in this present moment. As long as I hold a story together, I'm in like a force field of denial. When I let go of that, suddenly my world opens up. I recognize where I abide. And I'm in communication with everything. Like literally I see in everyone my dearest friend. As it says in the review of the first 50 lessons too. I start to recognize in everyone my dearest friend. Why is that? Because I don't hold anything against anyone. That's the only reason. If I don't hold anything against anyone, then it's open. Then I can be totally a part of it because I don't separate myself off of everything. Now this goes on and on and on, like within every little aspect of your story. Anything that you hold on to is literally your choice to be separate. And no matter what it is, you use it for that. And in the use of that, guilt and fear are present. It's inevitable. So there's a force field of denial, you could say, that seems to be so powerful until you see what you do. Then the spell breaks, and then you don't see it any longer. And it's like, duh, of course. I didn't see this. I really thought I needed to do that. And when I forgive this, when I forgive myself for doing this, it can disappear. It will disappear. And what do I see then? A whole different world in which there is brightness, joy, happiness, openness, playfulness, discovery, exploration, and all this. Like suddenly I feel like I can breathe again. I can be part of things. I don't have to separate myself off because of my ideas. So this is huge, what is being offered, and this is just part of this section. In this part of the section you are completely set free of that what seems to bind you to a world of pain, limitation, death, guilt, and all this stuff. Like as if the images mattered and would dictate who you are. Well, they can never do that because you're not an image, and you cannot be dictated into anything, no matter where you live, no matter what seems to be going on. So wonderful, great, wonderful lesson. All right. So thank you for letting me share this and recognizing this with me, because here's an opportunity for us to literally exemplify that. If there's nothing to be afraid of, if there's nothing that holds you back, to be open to one another, how lovely is that? What a beautiful example is that? So welcome to the circle of brightness. You have forgiven the world, and now innocence seems to take over. And here you are. This is our new day where we can celebrate that, because this is what is left to do. But that we have found like the incredible gift that was hidden underneath all of the constructs that we had made. And now these constructs have fallen apart. The spell is broken, and you come into, here we are. Thank you for this. All right. It seems like we can use a bit of a miracle prayer at this point. God's answer is some form of peace. All pain is healed, all misery replaced with joy. All prison doors are opened, and all sin is understood as merely a mistake. Father, today we will forgive your world, and let creation be your own. We have misunderstood all things, but we have not made sinners of the Holy Son of God. What you created sinless, so abides forever and forever. Such are we, and we rejoice to learn that we have made mistakes which have no real effects on us. Sin is impossible, and on this fact forgiveness rests upon a base more solid than the shadow world we see. Help us forgive, for we would be redeemed. Help us forgive, for we would be at peace. Father, today we will forgive your world and let creation be your own. We have misunderstood all things, but we have not made sinners of the holy sons of God. What you created sinless, so abides forever and forever. Such are we, and we rejoice to learn that we have made mistakes which had no real effects on us. Sin is impossible, and on this fact forgiveness rests upon a certain base more solid than the shadow world we see. Help us forgive, for we would be redeemed. Help us forgive, for we would be at peace. So if you want to read that in your language, go ahead. Be my guest. It would be lovely.
La réponse de Dieu est quelque forme de paix. Toute douleur est guérie, toute misère remplacée par la joie. Toutes les portes de prison sont ouvertes, et tout péché est compris comme étant simplement une erreur. Père, aujourd'hui, nous pardonnerons à ton monde et laisserons la création t'appartenir. Nous avons mal compris toutes choses, mais nous n'avons pas fait des pécheurs des saints fils de Dieu. Ce que tu as créé sans péché le demeure pour toujours et à jamais. Ainsi sommes-nous. Et nous nous réjouissons d'apprendre que nous avons fait des erreurs qui n'ont pas d'effet réel sur nous. Le péché est impossible, et de ce fait, le pardon repose sur une base certaine et plus solide que le monde d'ombre que nous voyons. Aide-nous à pardonner, car nous voudrions être rédimés. Aide-nous à pardonner, car nous voudrions être en paix.
Merci. Okay, special request. My heart is beating in the peace of God. Surrounding me is all the life that God created in His love. It calls to me in every heartbeat and in every breath, in every action and in every thought. Peace fills my heart and floods my body with the purpose of forgiveness. Now my mind is healed, and all I need to save the world is given me. Each heartbeat brings me peace. Each breath infuses me with strength. I'm a messenger of God, directed by His voice, sustained by Him in love, and held forever quiet and at peace within His loving arms. Each heartbeat calls His name, and every one is answered by His voice, assuring me that I am at home in Him. Let me attend your answer and not my own, Father. My heart is beating in the peace the heart of love created. It is there and only there that I can be at home. My heart is beating in the peace of God.